Before nations, before markets, before towers of glass and steel, there was an open question for humanity. What is wealth, and what is it for? Welcome to School of the Land, as we discuss the ninth foundation stone of the Baha'i Faith, the elimination of extremes of material wealth and poverty. When discussing wealth, Baha'u'llah, the prophet and founder of the Baha'i Faith, obviously doesn't mention spreadsheets or investment strategies. He starts with the soul. He makes a very simple point. Human beings should engage in that which uplifts the soul and avoid that which debases it. And then you look at the world we've built. We live in a society where almost everything points us in the opposite direction. We're trained from an early age to obsess over our private pile of wealth, to count it, to grow it, to protect it, to maximize it at any cost. Success becomes a number, freedom becomes purchasing power, personal value becomes a matter of net worth. The ultimate result is a kind of winner-takes-all economy. The winners write the rules in their favor, then they tell us the game is fair. The idea of the common good has steadily been pushed to the margins. We're told that if everyone just chases their own self-interest hard enough, something resembling justice will eventually appear. The idea of freedom is reduced to the capacity to spend and consume and accumulate. But that definition of freedom isn't true liberation and is not morally neutral. It begins to shape the inner life. If the highest aim of existence is the fulfillment of appetite, no matter how extensive, distorted, or corrupt, then appetite replaces purpose. Desire becomes the compass. And over time, its pursuit can lead not to fulfillment, but to depravity, because the soul was never meant to be satisfied by material consumption alone. What should be a means becomes an end. What should serve a meaningful life begins to dominate it. You can see this written into the physical landscape. Cities filled with towers that function as monuments to power, wealth, and ego. Meanwhile, a loss of real public space, fewer places to gather that don't require spending money, less sense of belonging, less sense of home. Baha'u'llah corrects this imbalance in a practical, grounded way. He calls for the eventual institution of a form of tithing, a percentage of wealth given voluntarily by self-identified Baha'is contributed to the houses of justice. These funds are then mandated to circulate back into the life of the community. Help for those in need, parks, gardens, schools, hospitals, libraries, plazas, centers of culture, public arenas, protection of wilderness, places where human dignity is visible and shared. Wealth in this vision isn't eliminated. It's reoriented. It becomes a trust, not a personal trophy. Baha'u'llah also strongly hints at the need for sound money, a stable standard that frees economies from financial manipulation and speculation. Not wealth conjured out of debt and abstraction, but something anchored, transparent, and real. Money as a servant of society, not its master. The larger point is unmistakable. Extremes of wealth and poverty are explicitly identified as harmful. They corrode social stability, they distort justice, they poison human relationships. And all of this is not an accident of nature. It's a choice. Now, how any nation or region addresses this problem is left open. Different cultures can experiment. Forms of market capitalism, socialism, or blended systems can emerge organically. What allows for this capacity for local experimentation is a new global context. Powerful nations are no longer permitted to interfere in the internal affairs of weaker ones. Economic bullying loses its legitimacy. Space opens for nations to learn from each other best practices. This principle isn't about leveling everyone to sameness. It's about restoring balance, about remembering that a healthy society is one where no one is crushed by deprivation and no one is corrupted through excess. In the end, it asks a deeper question. What kind of world actually uplifts the human soul, and are we willing to build it? A society is not measured by the height of its buildings or the size of its individual fortunes, but by whether its people can breathe, gather, and live without the fear of scarcity or the enslavement of gluttony and excess. When material wealth serves the common good, it uplifts the soul. When it ensnares the heart, it diminishes us all. The elimination of extremes of wealth and poverty is not a dream, it's a spiritual commandment. For more information about the blueprint for God's kingdom on earth, visit schooloftheland.com.